now.
Hey. Now I believe it. I hear the music.
And we're back. Again, we haven't ruined YouTube yet. Somehow.
We're on the way to ruining it.
We're on the way. Yeah, it's about to happen.
Momentarily.
Any second now it's going to happen.
I'm actually kind of pissed because other shows get banned much quicker than we get banned. I feel like we should have at least gotten a warning message by now.
That is true. Yeah, we haven't really defiled things nearly enough.
He's old.
Yeah, let's get to work on it.
I mean, it's from an old year.
We have a couple special guests here tonight with us. We have Vazgen Soghoyan back for round 2. And we have another guest here, Scot Mendelson. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, brother?
We're surviving. We somehow got on. We actually got on air somehow, so that's good.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
We're psyched to have you on, man. I mean, you know, one of the things about this show is that we have people from all different aspects of arm wrestling. We've had promoters, we've had people who are elite level, we've had amateurs on, we've had people, you know, that are just spouses of arm wrestlers. And I mean, you being, you know, a world famous power lifter who has, you know, numerous records and is definitely, you know, entering into our sport of arm wrestling, it's a big deal. And
yeah, I'm in the spouse category. What?
Nothing. You just be proud, you know.
I am. I'm a proud spouse.
You should rock it. That's your label. You should rock it, man. That's all I think.
Right.
But you know, anyway, I think it's fun talking to people, man, about this stuff. And to me, you're a very interesting guy to talk to. I mean, for a lot of reasons, and the fact that you're sitting next to Vazgen, who's, you know, world-renowned master of arm wrestling and technician, it speaks a lot about how serious you're taking it. And I guess
that's exactly why I'm sitting next to him.
Yeah.
So and I like him too, but it's the first thing is really the real reason.
Yeah, he's all right.
You know. Yeah.
I'm quiet, shy, and tired.
Yeah. So, Scott, you were, you know, for people who don't know, I'm sure there's not too many people who don't, but you were, you know, basically the man when it came to bench pressing for quite a long time.
Yeah, I'm a 5-time world champion. I have 65 world records, and I won the Arnold Schwarzenegger, pretty much everything. And you know, it's just been a great ride, man. And now I'm on a new ride.
So when it comes to power, you know, really just in general, you're probably the guy to talk to, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I feel like arm wrestling in a lot of ways is still in the infant stage of learning exactly how to generate the most amount of power. You know, a lot of the sport's fairly new, I guess you could say, in a lot of respects, you know, especially in the world level, you know,
on the mainstream, sure.
Yeah. And especially in the world in general, like really in the, in the early 90s, it really took over in the world arena. For a long time, the world championships was United States, Canada.
Right.
You know, so I think in a lot of ways, we still have quite a bit to learn about training, how much training, what kind of training, volume, all that stuff. So I think it's kind of cool too that someone who's come from a very solid power background, strength building background, is coming into the sport as well. What's the first thing you noticed when you came into the sport? Maybe the first thing that surprised you about it?
Well, the first thing that surprised me is, you know, with powerlifting, you're pushing your entire life. Mm-hmm. And when I got into arm wrestling, it's pulling. And I just learned how to arm wrestle last weekend. Literally, it took a year to like even click. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very, very technical, intense sport, and yeah, I had no idea what the heck it was getting into it. You know, I mean, I had a friend whose father was an arm wrestling champion back in the 80s, and you know, I was like 2 170 and he was 160 and he floored me. And he ended up dying. And on his deathbed, I said, bro, can you just tell me? And he said, absolutely not. And he died and didn't tell me. So, you know, so I knew back then that it was really something when I was getting spanked by this little kid. But,
yeah,
you know, coming into the level of arm wrestling that we are today, I mean, it's a professional sport. It's the real deal. And, you know, you've got to do powerlifting with arm wrestling. That's what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, for me, the intensity, I'm used to the intensity level, but just, you know, like I said, teaching your brain to do something opposite, you know, it takes a long time. And I'm not a guy that learns the first or second time. You know, I got to learn to do it 200 times before I learn it. You know, I'm just that kind of guy. So, you know, it's been a rough run, but very expected. And I'm getting strong as hell right now. I'm feeling good about it.
Let me ask you this, Scott, because of the, you know, the fame you have in powerlifting, obviously you could have probably just been a coach or a mentor or gone around giving speeches and stuff like that. Why did you decide to take on another sport after your injury?
Well, I'll tell you, as you guys might or might not know, I was stopped at a red light and a truck hit me at 50 miles an hour, and my seatbelt was on, and it just tore everything in my left shoulder. So I was depressed, and, you know, I'm used to competing and I'm in a sport my whole life, and all of a sudden I'm disconnected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a very crazy time in my life. And, you know, one of the guys came in, Raymond Cody. I know you guys know Ray Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came over. He was a fan of mine. He is a fan of mine. And he brought me into arm wrestling. And Ray, thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother. And Ray Cody's a good guy, country crush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah, we know Ray.
Absolutely, yeah. And when you know, you got into the sport, and it's like, because I've heard Vazgen say it before, I've said it before, you know, arm wrestling is really a strength martial art. That's what
Absolutely. It's combat.
That's what it turns into, you know, and it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu and judo and all these things. You know, it is, you might watch it and go, yeah, that's arm wrestling. It's just easy. You just put your hand up there and go sideways. How hard is that? Yeah. And then,
well, I kind of knew. I was a fighter before. My grandfather was Rocky Marciano's stablemate.
Okay.
So I went to get a career in boxing, and I ended up getting a shoulder injury in that. And then I just stuck in powerlifting. So, you know, as far as combat relation, I think arm wrestling is the best thing since air, because you're bringing lifting in with combat. I mean, for me, it's like, wow, what a great thing, you know?
Absolutely. And when it comes
to the one good thing I got left is a right arm. So here I am.
And, you know, the one thing too that maybe people don't so much understand is when you get to that top level in powerlifting, really any sport, but, you know, powerlifting is no different. You know, there's a lot of, if one little tiny mistake happens, either injury or you miss that lift when it comes to those main, you know, super heavy max effort lifts, correct?
I'll tell you what, when I went after the 1,000-pound bench press, I could win every show. That's not even an issue. I could throw a 950, 975 bench up all the time. But the 1,000-pound barrier, it was like the 4-minute mile. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you don't make your lift in powerlifting, they call it bombing out.
Right.
And I bombed out for 2 years chasing that 1,000 pounds. Because it becomes a point, you know, when you become a multi-world champion, at least in my mind, my goal is after I'm dead, I want my name remembered 50, 100 years afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I want Scot Mendelson to be on the earth as far as a name and a recognition for something well after I'm gone, you know. So winning every meet wasn't it. It's about making history. So when you go after history don't come easy.
Right. Yeah. When you're trying to do something that's never been done before, and there really isn't a road that's paved yet either, right? You know, and there certainly isn't one individually. Like everybody in arm wrestling, everybody in any sport is a little tiny bit different. You can take everybody's advice and all you want, But if you don't do exactly the same thing that guy exactly did and think the exact same way he did and be built exactly the same way, it's probably not going to work.
You know,
that's an interesting point.
Are you guys familiar with Paul Anderson?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know who Paul Anderson is. Yeah.
Paul Anderson in the 60s had a 6,000-pound platform lift that to this day he still holds. There was a guy about 15 years ago tried to do it, and he got 2,900 pounds up and almost killed himself. So guys like Paul or Ryan Kennelly, who's another great bencher, or myself, these were gifts from God, period. You either got it or you don't. There's the whole world, and then there's 2 or 3 guys in every sport.
Right.
And that's how it is.
I think that's it's an interesting point because, with Eddie Hall doing the 500 kilograms a couple weeks ago, and when you did the 1,000, people were saying the same kind of, well, you can't do 1,000, you can't do 1,000, you can't do 1,000, or maybe in 10 years, maybe in 15 years, that kind of stuff. And then, guys like you do something like that. Or like last night, Travis Bagent, beating Dave Chafee relatively easily, which, nobody's done in the United States anyway for 3 years.
Yeah, but hold on. I think that Dave gave it to him because he thought that arm wrestling would get ahead.
Well, that'd be very
That's good.
No,
That's
Okay,
good.
I think
That's
there's
good.
something there. I think Dave, really loves Travis. And I think he was just like, hey, if Travis beats me right now, the sport of arm wrestling is going to catapult. And that's why Dave let it happen. Because, see, I don't think I could beat Dave Chafee right now, but I know I could beat Travis Bagent.
We're going to have to get that rematch as soon as possible, clearly.
Absolutely.
But why do you think
Travis,
why do you think that you
I'm
guys
here for you, baby.
what do you think it is that I mean you said like it's a gift from God, right? But
Yeah.
what is it that enables you guys to outperform what people think is the limit of human ability in that moment?
It's like a whole world of Volkswagens. And they're nice cars, and they go forever as long as you maintain it. And then somebody came up with the Mustang. That's what happened. We didn't do it. Whatever did it. And that's it. I mean, look, there's great athletes. There's Barry Bonds. There's Bolt. There's,
Michael
Eddie
Phelps.
Holes. There's the greatest of the greatest. And we're always going to stick out above the rest because we're not accountants. We can't build space shuttles. This is the shit we do.
Yeah.
Right.
You found your niche. You found your niche. So Vazgen, what made you decide you wanted to train with Scott? Why did you take him on, or why did you agree to work with him? What attracted you guys to each other in terms of the physical aspects of the sport and what have you?
I begged him and paid him a lot of money.
Hey.
Please.
Well, I always try to be helpful if anybody comes and wants to train. And when he came to our practice first, we talked, and he said he owns a gym here, like 2 miles away where I live. And I came, we saw this everything, and he talked to me. He explained his situation. He explained what he wants to do, where he goes, and why not? Let's do it. Let's try this. And, anything is possible. And we have all possible conditions to make a huge progress. I mean, knowledge, equipment, gym. Our gym is like one of the best in LA, equipped with the best stuff.
Yeah.
There are even dumbbells I cannot lift from the floor with 2 hands.
Oh, by the way, next level training, 4617 Van Nuys Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, California.
There you go.
Come on down Monday and Thursday, powerlifting at 8 p.m. and Tuesdays at 8, arm wrestling.
Perfect.
And then we started our trainings, and we moved our practices before we were doing in a sports bar patio, summer or winter, whatever. But now we are in a gym area, air conditioning, everything. You have everything to warm up. It's a sports level already, sports college.
World class.
And we can do any training we want here.
Perfect.
So I noticed there's a similarity, at least in my mind. Like in the UFC, they have this guy who used to be a professional wrestler, CM Punk, who's going to have his first MMA fight ever, and he's going to actually be on the UFC card. And a lot of people got pissed off about it because, you know, the guy doesn't have a background in MMA, and then, you know, pro wrestling is fake and all that. But I mean, obviously, it's a very physically demanding activity. And then, you know, you, Scott, coming in from another sport, powerlifting, where you were at the elite level, into arm wrestling. And again, there's a lot of people that, you know, for whatever reason, get hot under the collar about that kind of stuff because you're getting attention. But in both cases, I feel like you guys are elite level in another sport. And just that by itself garners a significant amount of interest amongst, you know, most of us, because our first question is, oh my God, what's this guy going to be able to do? Is he going to be good? Is he going to suck? How is he going to make the transition? Are his, you know, skills at bench pressing going to translate? Because we don't really use the chest that much, and arm, and all those questions come up. And how do you deal with that personally? I mean, is it something that you use to motivate you? I mean, does it get you training harder? Is it just par for the course for you, or what?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, when I came into powerlifting, it was pretty much like this. And I came out of nowhere and I won the Arnold. And all of a sudden, everybody was like, whoa, who's this guy? And they all talk, you know, all the bad stuff about me and whatever, you know. And I mean, I've been dealing with that for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So a guy doesn't like me and he calls me names. Ooh. You know, the bottom line is, you know, there are specific people out there that we don't need to name or anything, but I'm going to blow through all of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm in training. And, you know, they may be like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's like, dude, shut up. Why don't you come bench press with me? It's the same thing. But I don't sit there and go, oh, you know, I bench more than you do. You're an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't do that because, see, I'm a professional athlete. Mm-hmm. And what I bring to the table in this sport is, yes, controversy, but excitement and money. Mm-hmm. You know, I took powerlifting, and I mentioned Ryan Kennelly. And basically, me and him and another guy, Gene Richlack, but it was basically me and Ryan that we had a fight, battles for years and years at the Arnold and World Championships and all these other arenas, and people would go nuts about it. Okay?
Right.
It's sort of like the way it's going to happen when I come and go through these people. And you know what? I don't want to lose. Who wants to lose?
Right.
But if I come up against somebody that's more skilled than me and they beat me right now, first of all, if they beat me, they're going to earn it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't give nothing away for free. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if that happens and I do get beat, I'm going to know how they beat me. And I'm going to train my ass off. And there's nobody on this planet that trains harder than Scot Mendelson. And there's nobody on this planet hungrier than Scot Mendelson. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Yeah, I proved everything and done what I had to do in bench press. And I have my world titles. Look, if I died right this second, I don't regret anything that I've done in this world. Mm-hmm. I am a complete man, and I feel great about myself. But you know what? This sport right here, I want this. I want this. I want it all. And you know what? Everybody out there, just get ready to battle. Because I'm coming, and you may beat my ass down, but I'm coming again and again and again, and my cardio's good. So yours better be too.
You know what? I actually just got a great idea, man.
Also, I want to say that let nobody forget that all of us, we came from somewhere, from some sports.
Yeah.
I was doing some 2 years powerlifting and strength training at the gym, and I figured out that I beat everybody on the arm wrestling table. Somebody came from boxing, somebody came from other sports, somebody just straight into arm wrestling. This is normal.
Right.
This is the greatness of our sport. You can come anytime, any moment, work hard and win.
But it's about working hard.
Yeah.
It is about working hard. And I
have a saying. And this is how I basically live my life. You need to go to hell when you train. Yeah. You need to train until you die. But what you need to do is you need to learn to make hell your heaven. And when you do that, there's no holds barred.
That's what ultra runners say, man. You know, when you're running like 100 miles, you have to start to appreciate the hell, appreciate the pain, and that's when the real growth occurs.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I do want to tell you, man, that just in the unlikely occurrence that arm wrestling doesn't work out for you, you definitely have a career in pro wrestling, man, because you got the vocal stuff down 100%. I mean,
You know
it's
what?
like
Do me a
Randy
favor.
Macho Man Savage, man.
I hope they're listening, because give me a call.
Dude, I think you'd be awesome on that. Dude, you would be awesome on that.
You already got his address. You got his address earlier in the show, you know?
Yeah, you got to find them if you want to give them a call.
Jim, give me a call.
But you know what you were just saying, it's interesting to me, which I say a lot, but tons of arm wrestlers talk exactly the same way you do. Nobody's gonna beat me. I'm gonna crush everybody.
No, I didn't say nobody's gonna beat me.
Okay, you're right.
I didn't say that.
Right, you did, and I retract that statement. But you're saying things that are like exuding confidence, which is a very common thing for our, you know, elite level arm wrestlers to do. And it's funny that it's accepted from certain people and not from others. And yes, you don't have a large number of big wins other than the Travis Bajan one you brought up. But I think that you have to be a little silly not to take you seriously just based on your strength credentials. So I mean, I got people asking all kinds of questions online, and a lot of them have to do with, do you have ideas about how you're going to transition your tremendous chest and bench pressing style strength to arm wrestling? Is that something Vazgen's working with you on, that kind of stuff?
Let me explain to you.
I have that idea. So.
Yeah. Vazgen, and I'll be honest with you, I've dealt with coaches all over the world.
Yeah.
Okay. My son's a competitive gymnast, possible Olympics. My daughter's on the U.S. team, possible Olympics for weightlifting. You know, the powerlifting, you know, just being around it your whole life and seeing world level coaches. And I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world and meet these people, these very special people that have these great talents. And let me tell you something, and all you people out there, I'm talking to all of you punks that talk shit about my coach. And I'm not saying it because he's my coach. I'm saying it from experience. Hold on. I'm saying it from experience, okay? Vazgen Soghoyan is one of the most understanding, skilled, championship. I'm not even talking about the athlete portion. I'm just talking about the coaching portion, the time he puts in, the heart, the soul. This man puts this sport up with his whole life. And for me to see that, that's the kind of guy that I want to learn from. That's the kind of guy that I can trust and that I know is not going to put me in harm's way.
Sure.
And for a coach, you know, you could be a great coach, but if you just throw your athlete out there to a piranha tank, you're not a good coach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes these instinctive skills that you're almost born with. It's not even something that you could teach. It's like, would you react if a kid was burning in a car? Half the people would just let it happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Would you be the one to react? This is the kind of guy that under those strict conditions, under that ultimate intensity, looks at you and says, not, oh, you know, you could do this or that. He could do, this is it, boom, done. I trust it, I execute it, and so far, so good.
Well,
so, you know, I think he's incredible. And once again, I'm not just saying it because he's my coach. I'm saying it because I'm a coach. And from 25 years of experience myself, that's how I'm able to do it. Okay, so that's how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Vazgen. I've never heard anything but respect for the guy. And you know,
we could say some bad things about him.
Yeah,
we could do it right now.
We can start, but it's his birthday
No, I was
today.
actually talking to you two.
Oh,
okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
We can't be mean to him today because it's his birthday.
It's his birthday, yeah.
Happy birthday, Vasgen. You guys missed this because we were talking about it before we went on, but you know, Vazgen, like John and myself, is very anti-steroids guy. So he made a cake and wrote steroids across the top of it, so that when they had a piece of it, they could say that they were finally doing steroids. I think that's hilarious.
It's very good.
I'm gonna do that for my birthday, man. When I turn 46 next year, it's the best idea ever. All right, so let me ask you this: do going to start with a tournament, or are you going to request a super match, or do you not know what you're going to do yet?
You know what? Here's the plan. My coach will let you know.
Good answer. Good answer. I like that.
We are still in training preparation period, and probably we aim high, and we want to start from high level event. And today it's very possible for us to do that. We started from some small tournaments to feel the taste of arm wrestling, competitive arm wrestling in a tournament situation.
Yeah.
Probably we can do both. Championship or arm fight format, super match format in America. So as the time comes and we are ready, we will select the upcoming, the closest proper level event and try to hit that.
So
you know, I get
obviously,
a lot of requests asking me what I'm going to do and everything, and you know, a lot of people are also upset about that because, you know, they're like, oh, you got to get out there and blah blah blah. But you know, like I said, I got a world-class team that's taking care of me, and my trust is in them. So, you know, for all you people out there, I just want to let you know it's coming. And I'm as excited and tripped out about not doing it as you are. I want to compete, you know.
Yeah.
God, I'm like, boss, let me compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, they're the higher power, and that's what's going on. You know.
Well, to bring
you know,
up
we're a team.
CM Punk again, he's been training for 2 years. You know, since he made the announcement that he's transitioning to MMA, he's been training for 2 years with his very serious coaches, doing basically the same thing you are. And I'm sure it's killing him too. And he's gonna, you know, he's finally gonna make his debut, I think, next month. But Vazgen,
2 years is not enough to be in some you know, condition that allows you to do anything.
But you don't know if he knew how to fight before.
Right. You don't know.
I mean, who knows? That guy could have 10 years of jiu-jitsu and kickboxing or whatever behind him.
Right.
You know, you don't know.
Every practice, every match, or every championship, I discover for myself something new.
Yeah.
Then I watch my video. Did I really do this? Could I really figure out in this? So I ask these questions to myself. And guess what? It was me doing that there. So every time we are learning, and there's no time limit. It's like martial arts. Always you keep improve, rise your master level.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll tell you one other thing. You know, when Homeboy goes MMA, you know, he's used to big crowds already. You know, a lot of an athlete is walking out in front of 30,000 people, in front of 50,000 people. That's a huge thing to get over initially.
For sure.
You know, and if you're taking a guy that doesn't have that kind of exposure and then you're throwing him in UFC, man, when you come out, when there's 30, 40, 50,000 people cheering for you, I mean, the electricity just goes through you. It's so intense. It's, you know, when I compete, I don't even look at the crowd.
Right.
Ever. Yeah. I look at the bench. I know what I got to do, and I see the bar, and I stare at the bar as I'm walking up, or the arm wrestling table. You know, I never ever look into the crowd. I just treat it as if I'm at practice. You know, except with a bit more intensity. You know.
Sure. Yeah. So that brings up an interesting question, or an interesting point that, you know, for many of your competitive years have been, you know, you versus a barbell. Really?
Yeah.
And for the most part with bench press, it's been you versus yourself as far as the total. How does it feel, and what's the difference, if there is any, with being you versus somebody else?
I'll tell you, honestly, getting under 1,100 pounds and beating its ass is unlike any human in the world. So you really can't even compare that to a human being. So when I get on the table, whatever's in front of me doesn't mean shit. It's just human. And if it's human, it can be beat.
Okay, so
that's the way I feel.
You almost feel, you almost view that weight as like a machine.
Well, look, iron is trying to kill you the entire time. You don't look at weightlifting the way I'm going to explain it to you right now. But you get 1,100 pounds on a bench, 1,200 pounds on a squat, you're under it So basically what's going on is gravity. And that weight wants to kill you.
Right.
Period. Chop you in half.
And never gets tired.
And it doesn't tire. And I'll tell you, when I bench, I'll be benching in my forearms, right?
Yep.
And I'll feel when I'm holding 1,100 pounds and I'm bringing it down, my arms are flexing back and forth like this. And over the years, the form that I have is my own form that I've developed with help with others. But a lot of things like kicking your feet back and, you know, different things like pinching your shoulders back. We weren't doing that stuff back then. I figured that out because I had a shoulder injury. But the bottom line is the intensity of the itinerary is so crazy that I'm holding everything in place. If one little angle goes different, boom, your arm snaps in half.
Right.
So I'm not feeling my muscles flexing. I'm feeling my bones. You understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do understand.
So when the arm wrestlers say to me, Mendy, you're not going to do well, your tendon strength isn't there, and you know your arm may break, and blah blah blah. Yeah, if you bring your arm into that position to where you're going to get a spiral fracture, you're an idiot, and you should have your arm broken. And if you're in a championship and you're losing and you break your arm, that's the cost of it. You know what I mean? But the point is, there's a form in everything. And if you basically keep into that form and you mentally can stay in tune with your arm and your body, or your arms and your body in the bench, everything's under control. You know, Vazgen trains me to where I'm in positions like this. You know, we're in that negative position constantly. Right. And we build those areas up that I don't see a lot of other arm wrestlers doing, which, by the way, we will be starting an online program up for the arm wrestling weight training, but we'll get into that later. But the system that we use is unlike anybody else that I've ever seen. And every single little area is tended to. Mm-hmm. Because if you have a weak area, you're not bulletproof. Mm-hmm. There's always a way in. So if you train every single aspect and everything is supporting each other with your technique and your power, well, then you got greatness.
And that's Vazgen's specific level of expertise, as we all know. I mean, you talked about it a lot, Vazgen. Let me ask you this, Vazgen. What is it like taking somebody like Scott, who has a tremendous level of power, and trying to help him transition that to apply in arm wrestling? I mean, how do you even approach that?
Well, he's a professional athlete in his sports, and it's not a name or brand name or something. It's a lifestyle. So he treats this new thing professionally, organized. He's listening. He's doing what I'm saying, and he doesn't complain about that. So he treats this seriously.
Yep.
And of course, it helps me. If someone wants to learn, it's easier to teach. If someone doesn't want to learn, you can blow up, nothing helps.
Every arm wrestler knows that, who's been in the game for a while.
Yeah, so the background is coming from helps. We don't need to build that much strength and power. We need to make some transition, build arm wrestling quality arms and tendons and, I don't know, muscle, bones, and move forward. This is it. Everything what he has done before, it helps in a new sport.
Yeah, and his mental aspect obviously helps a little bit too. I mean, you know, anybody who's got to that level in any sport.
Yeah.
You know,
very often when he speaks, like, you know, when he was speaking like that, it reminds me those YouTube motivational speech videos. I'm listening, and then, Scott, you did this motivational speech.
Yeah, and you know,
it's very interesting, helpful, and, you know, for a moment takes you away to some emotional world, which brings more energy into your trainings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you know that's the number one thing that that I've experienced in arm wrestling. It's difficult. You never know if someone's going to stick around. Like, they can tell you all day long, no, I'm this is my life now. And 6 weeks later, they're not showing up to practice anymore. But it does help when someone's had a 20-year journey of becoming the best at something. That this guy probably has the ability, if he really wants to stick around, to do it.
Well, that, and also I made it so it's at my gym and I can't flake.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you make practice, if you bring practice to your house, you don't have much of an excuse.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I get off work and boom, I'm training with the boys. It's ideal for me,
Absolutely.
So Vazgen, another question for you. I got a little information coming in online that the reason you won your vendetta is because of your awesome corner, man. So I don't know if you want to respond to that.
Because of what?
You're awesome corner, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I had Herman Stevens and one guy from Kazakhstan. Him and his brother, they are our practice team members. So this guy is a national champion in Kazakhstan. And he's doing awesome sports massage. So before Vendetta, he did a great massage, which would wake up my arm. And Herman, and he was giving good advices. I remember the moment that Risto was hanging on my arm. He was on the lowest position, and I was trying to rise a little bit to avoid from, pinning. And I heard Herman's voice, up, 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 up. Maybe you can hear in the video. And I was doing exactly same time as he was saying, but I couldn't hear whatever the crowd was saying. But that moment I could hear his voice, which also, of course, helps. It's another thing. You walk on the stage alone. Nobody gives a water. It's another thing that you go with your people to help to support any moment that you need.
So thank you, Herman.
It's nice being taken care of,
Yeah,
you're an elite level athlete, and your team should be able to do everything. You should just have to do your job.
Yeah.
And Herman is going to have a vendetta fight.
Yeah,
soon.
I saw that.
With Gasparini,
If he wants me on the stage, my pleasure.
Up, up,
You
up.
can say up, up, up,
Up,
up, up.
Herman.
Yeah. You already know what to say.
I asked him, I said, hey, can I help? He said, no, sit down, you're not qualified. I said, okay.
That sounds like something Herman would say.
So
I was
were you
like,
there?
okay, coach. Yeah.
Were you there? You were there then, Scott? Did you see the?
Yeah, I go to all his vendettas. I support, our team supports. If at all possible, I will go everywhere with Vazgen.
Is that tough for you to watch it?
You know what? I know what he's capable of as he floors me in practice, and he's a beast, man. He's a beast, and I know, this last vendetta, if you saw, did you guys watch it?
Yeah, I watched some of it. Yep.
I mean, his match was flawless. I mean, the technicality was at the highest level. I think he whip kicked him under the table 3 times. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah, the guy was like kicking and Vazgen was like arm wrestling and it was really something. But his technique was flawless, and he was ahead of the guy. Thought wise.
Yeah.
It's like a good jiu-jitsu guy. There's 3 options before you even make your move. He's already got in his head.
Mm-hmm.
So Vazgen's that kind of athlete, and it was truly amazing to watch him. I was like, that was the most impressed I've ever been. That's why I have him as a coach.
Yeah, it's fun to see somebody. It's fun to see somebody build a game plan and have it work perfectly, right?
He's brutal. I love him. It's great.
I mean, Vazgen's strategy is off the charts, man. I always love watching him. I mean, that kind of stuff, you got to be really and have an active brain in the moment to be paying attention to that kind of stuff. And as you said, arm wrestling.
For that particular fight, I was trying to finish it quick, fast,
right?
So I don't get his game.
Uh-huh.
If I get his game, I don't know what happens. I am confident on my skills, but you never know. It's a critical situation. Any moment, maybe injury happens, so you stop fighting. So the first round, I could hit quick, and he made a wrong strategy. He tried to enter hook, but I hit from side and wrist like Pushkar, and just overpowered with the speed. He figured out that was wrong. But second round, he was faster, and I appeared in that hanging on my arm move. Well, first thing, immediately to transform into one plan strategy into another. So you need to have everything in your mind for all kinds of situations, and you need to train for all those kind of situations. You need to get ready for everything. So when I appeared in there, for others, that's a hopeless position. For Risto, he was maybe in his mind celebrating his victory in there because nobody comes back from there.
Right.
But guess what? I start my training in that position.
Up, Vasgen.
Yeah. In that hopeless position, I have special exercises to train that position.
Right.
So I am there as strong as in the middle of the table. From the other side, when I appeared in that situation, the most important thing, not to get tired. I want to stay longer than he is. And I started to breathe deep and quick to try to take as more oxygen as it possible. So all internal processes will go faster and I will stay as fresh as long as it possible.
Yep.
I think I could manage that. Everything were combined and perfect for that moment.
Yeah, and really it comes down to almost making all that second nature to where you can adjust and move without really necessarily thinking about all those processes at once, right? I mean, it's almost like...
Also, there is a moment in that particular arm fight that perhaps not everybody noticed. There were 4 referees there. Bill Collins as a head referee.
Right.
Reza as a referee watching monitors and cameras. Risto is a world-class referee. He's reffing at the Worlds. And I have a world junior referee level and a lot of experience in American tournaments reffing. So Risto is hanging on my arm. He's under the table fully, and I'm struggling and breathing deeply. I talk to Bill Collins. Is his elbow fine? Bill watches. Yes, yes. Okay, I do a move and asking, is he still fine? Bill is watching. Yeah, he is still fine. Okay, take a breath, another adjustment, and then Herman's up.
This is crazy.
I talked to Bill Collins again. Bill, watch now what happens. And I started to lift my arm. His elbow went deeper and lower, and he got a fall. So I brought referee's attention. He was there. But I brought another time his attention. What will happen in a second? And as Risto got that fall, he agreed normally.
Yep.
I was fine. Monitor watching referee was fine. Bill Collins was fine. So
all 4 refs agreed.
So everything in critical situation, your referee knowledge, your skills, your speed, endurance, strength, everything works in that moment. One missing detail, you fail.
I basically just learned that Vasken can call a foul while he's giving birth. That's what it sounds like, which is very impressive.
You should take up juggling. So, all right, these questions, as usual, are starting to pile up here. I got to get some of them out of the way, Scott. I got a couple questions here.
The fans will turn on us if we don't ask them.
Yeah, they'll turn on us.
Go ahead, hit me.
So, we got a couple questions suggesting, or wondering if you've talked to some of your fellow powerlifters, Furious Pete, CT Fletcher, other people about trying arm wrestling. Are you trying to recruit any of those guys?
You know what? Arm wrestling is a very special sport, and you got to want to do it. You know, these guys are into other things, you know, and if they'd love to come in, hey, that'd be great. I did a video with Rich Piana. We got like 2 million views on it. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
5 million views?
45.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, should I think Rich Piana should arm wrestle? Hell no. I almost broke his arm on that table. But, you know, it's all what you want to do.
Fair enough. That's a good answer, man. Oh, see, now I got people retracting questions. They're like, ask him about vegan gains. Ask him about vegan gains. And I was like, no. Now he's like, no, I was just kidding. Don't ask. This is,
you know, I don't know vegan gains, but hey, dude, how famous are you, bro? You're on an interview now. Your name came up here, you know?
Yeah.
Look, he's actually a smart kid. I got nothing against the guy. We talk shit and it's fun.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against vegetarians. Okay, I love you. But you know, he's smart. He attacks these elite pro athletes online, and you know, it's monetized YouTube. So he's made a few $1,000 off me, and I've made a few thousand off him. And it's you know, that's it. You know, you get 1 million views on YouTube, Google gives you a check for $2,500.
That's not bad.
That sounds good.
Well, look, Rich put that video up. Rich put our arm wrestling video up and got 5 million views. That's 10 G's for that video.
That's pretty good.
That's
not bad.
That's damn good.
Yeah, man. We should do some more controversial stuff.
I'm on it, Josh. I'm on it.
Yeah, we got to do some. Maybe we should just do some crazy stuff and freak out and get 5 million views. So, Scott, your wife, I think I'll pronounce your name right. Is it Marisol?
Yeah, she's my ex-wife, but we're best friends. Go on.
I was going to say, what does she think about it? I didn't know she was your ex-wife, so you feel free to ignore this question, but what does she think about the arm wrestling?
She's into it. You know, my wife Olympic lifts now with my daughter. Excuse me, ex-wife. She likes me to call her ex-wife.
Whatever to make her happy, you know?
But they're very into it. They're very supportive. Matter of fact, on my first show, I needed to get psyched. I don't know if you guys know. She smacks the shit out of me before I go out.
I've seen the video.
Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to light the arm wrestling crowd up. So I had her come up. Everybody's like, what the hell is she doing? Boom, boom. They flipped out, bro. It was unbelievable. And she likes hitting me. It's controlled domestic violence in her behalf. So,
right.
You know, it's a good thing. They're into it.
That's awesome.
It's good, man. It's good to have that kind of support.
And my girlfriend's into it.
Oh boy.
Dude, come here.
We seem to have a slight delay in the feed here.
Mm-hmm. We're still connected.
Oh, they disappeared. See, what happened is bringing his girlfriend in. His ex must be very powerful because the feed stopped as soon as the girlfriend was
here it comes.
In. Oh, it's coming back.
Something's happening. Oh.
Maybe not something. There's a little donut spinning for a second that makes you think we're going to go back to.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
We're back.
Hello.
Anyway, she's my YouTube partner, and you agree with this? Yeah.
Okay.
They were okay.
That's the first PDA.
That's the first for the show.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
going to get us an extra 1,000 views right there, man.
Yep. 7 cents in my
bro,
pocket.
hold on. I'll get you guys 2 million views right
now. Okay, yeah. So some more specific questions for you, Scott. Do you feel that there, I mean, or I guess let me try to answer exactly what they're asking here. How would you suggest people utilize their, you know, I guess pecs and chest muscles in general in arm wrestling?
You know, the thing about it is, in arm wrestling, you use your entire body. It's basically, you know, you lock your lat in with your arm, but your chest is in too. You know, you're tightening everything up. And we're trying to come across, even when we're hooking, we're coming in and around, so you're squeezing your pec in with it as well. So, you know, I tore my pec one time, breaking one of my own world records. And I realized when it tore that I would do legs and my pec would tighten up. Like before I tore it, I didn't realize that in like everything you do, you use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so it's pretty fabulous, you know, fabulously painful when you realize that. But, you know, to answer that question, I mean, obviously I'm gifted in that area. We're developing everything around me, you know, the way Vazgen feels.
Right.
So my chest isn't my only strong area.
Right.
You know, I've deadlifted 850 for 6 reps. I've squatted over 1,000 pounds raw. You know, I mean, I do have other aspects, you know, that have power. So I work a full body system. I do legs every week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to do what I got to do to make me, you know, bulletproof, like what we were talking about before.
Right.
So I don't think that's really a question that I can kind of really answer. Like,
let me follow up with this, because this is another question that was asked. And I know you guys do this for a living and you're not going to give away all your secrets, but in general, what type of system do you recommend for building power in general? I mean, we've had people talking about Westfield barbell and other conjugate systems and that kind of stuff. Is that something you subscribe to, or do you guys have another?
Well, first of all, I've never heard of Westfield. I've heard of West Side.
Yeah, well, obviously,
I'm telling Louis Simmons you messed him up.
It's over.
No.
We can't say West Side; it's trademark. So,
to be honest with you, I have my own system. I don't use West Side system. I don't use anybody. I've developed my own system, and it's Mendelson Strength Systems. And my thing is longevity. So you cannot build a muscle so quickly and so powerfully. You know, when you look at me and other strength athletes, you'll see guys that are big, and they're big this way, like, you know, wide across.
Yep.
And then you'll see guys that walk in the gym like me, that they're 2 feet from the back of their back to the front of their chest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
right.
And that's the kind of quality that you want. I mean, when you look at Saplankov, you know what I mean? Which, by the way, I spent like a couple weeks with. We hung out. I fucking, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, you can say what you want.
Oh, okay. I fucking love the guy.
There you
He's
go.
just the. Thank God for Google Translate, huh? You know what I mean? But we hung out, me and him and Vazgen, and you know, Sharky, and you know, it was just a really good experience. And let me tell you, working with Saplankov, he reminds me of me when I was big. That man is just—he's out of control. Mm-hmm. His toes look like they're going to explode. He was wearing flip-flops. I never seen a foot that thick in my life.
Those poor flip-flops.
Dude, I was like, whoa. But, you know, his thickness is outstanding. I mean, he really, you know, he put the time in and he put the work in, and he's willing to die for it like we are. So he deserves it.
Oh,
and as well, Pushkar and Trubin and Soghoyan and, you know, all these guys deserve that because, you know, to be a top level athlete in any sport, you have to give more than anybody else is willing to.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So
for a long time.
I have a lot of respect for these guys, you know.
Did you give Dennis any bench press tips when you were with him?
What's that?
Did you give Dennis any bench press tips when you were working with him?
You know what? We didn't get into it. We talked about training together, but he's got some serious arm wrestling stuff going on right now. So yeah, just a little bit. So, you know, in the future, I'd love to work with him. I know that he did a powerlifting meet about 4 weeks ago, and he bench pressed 300 kilos.
Which is
so that's 661 pounds, people. For all the Americans that don't know kilos.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that with or without a shirt?
That's without a shirt.
Shit, that's incredible.
So he's, you know, he's within, you know, 80 pounds of the all-time world record. So if I trained him, do I think he could break the all-time world record? It depends if Kirill wants to let him.
Yeah. And, you know, like,
I don't know if you guys know Kirill. He's Russian, and he just, first of all, he's 6'9", 410 pounds. And he just bench pressed 738 pounds raw.
Yikes.
He beat Eric Spoto, who is one of my guys that I helped train to break my world record. And Eric, I know you guys know the name Eric Spoto, by the way.
Absolutely, yes.
Need I not say another second on that, right? And yeah, you might be seeing some crazy shit coming out with him in arm wrestling if I can talk him into it.
I'm sure.
So we're working on it.
That's good. I'm glad you guys are so big.
Listen to me.
Yeah, put this on a loop right in front of Eric's house.
That's right, dude.
He was there in last Wednesday.
I'll tell you what, I invited him and we hung out the whole time. And
good.
Afterwards, we started going and they kicked us off the stage. But before me and him got going, Herman Stevens walks up to him and he goes, "Hey," and Eric's like, "Yeah, sure, sure." So they started going and Herman's like, "Hit me." And he's like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he went through Herman like a 4-year-old child.
Wow.
And Herman looked at me and went, "Okay." And then he walked on stage.
Yeah,
so
Eric is,
you know what? I'm telling you right now, Eric's got a lot of arm wrestling experience as well. Mm-hmm. You get that boy in shape, and he's in Vendetta for sure.
Yeah, he's just you know, I remember you know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, there was a lot of talk of Eric before
he went through Bajent and everybody basically. So it was anybody at that time.
Yeah, I think I remember Devon coming over to the U.S. and training with him and being like, "Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty crazy."
But let me tell you something. I got news for you. I was talking to him about that very training session the other day. And I've never had the honor of meeting Devon yet. I hope to soon. He seems like such a great guy.
Very nice man.
Special Forces, just a supreme gnarly motherfucker. I like that.
He's a pretty good arm wrestler too.
Yeah, he's good, and he's a hell of an arm wrestler. But Eric told me, he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, I was on the table with him for 3 minutes. I beat him twice, and then he smoked me for the rest of the time.
Right.
So he told me that he is an absolute technician and a powerhouse beyond, with leverage beyond, because he's got a 17-foot forearm, you know.
Correct.
So, you know, I hope he'll give me the honor of just let me get on the table for a couple minutes.
Well, I'm sure he will. And, you know, that goes back to the second nature of, you know, Vazgen was talking about earlier of having to switch techniques in the middle of battle. You know, it took Devon 2 minutes to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
2 minutes.
And he probably wasn't, not that he wasn't thinking about it, but he probably wasn't necessarily boiling his brain thinking about how to beat this guy. There was probably a lot of things that he just felt. You know, 80% of it was probably just instinct at that point.
Well, he said he was posting on him a lot. Once he posted up, his arm was too big for Eric to really contend with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But he had to take Eric out of his power groove, and Eric told me he did just that. I mean, he said he was very frustrated with him, but hell, what do you do with, you know? You know, that was funny. We talk about him. I don't know if you guys saw that video of him and Pushkar on Facebook, where Pushkar was all burned out.
Oh yeah,
and Devon was taking him out, and all these guys were talking shit about Pushkar like he was nobody. And I was like, look, you know, that's Devon Larratt, obviously, but the guy that's tired out right there, don't put him out to the field. I mean, I don't think you people know who the hell he is, and you know, and most of them didn't. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, I spoke with Pushkar at Vendetta, and I obviously watched him. Super, super nice guy. I mean, from what I understand, that's all he does is teach arm wrestling. So the dude's like, he's the man out there. But he used to be a power lifter as well.
Oh, really?
So watching him, I mean, the placement of power. And he's a big dude. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He's a big dude too. You know, you really can't tell until you get up next to him, you know. But he's a serious athlete, man. I mean, you know, Troop is no joke at all.
No.
And I mean, you know, he sent Trubin home a little upset.
Probably Pushkar Larratt is one of the most wanted matches right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Who knows? I don't know if that was an arm fight thing or if that was a tournament. Did he do?
Was it a Vendetta? 6 rounds. Yep.
Oh, all right. So I didn't know.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So you know, who knows? Maybe he was sick, or who knows what was up. You never.
Well, you know, in that you can watch that whole thing. I believe it's still on YouTube now. But you know, the first 2 rounds were very, very close. And Pushkar actually beat him the first round. And then as soon as Devon stopped him, you know, Devon, you know, the dude can pull him forever. And the endurance just took over, and that's when you see that last match.
Yeah, Pushkar has that moment. He's like, boom, hit, super strong hit guy. But when he gets stopped, he gets troubles in there. He has to deal with endurance and a lot of strength technique thing.
I know he pulled his pec on
it looked like it.
On match number 5.
Yeah, it looked like
on match 6, he just let him go, and then I talked to him afterwards, and he said, yeah, he pulled his didn't know if he tore it or he pulled it.
Yeah,
so
when I watched it, I was like, it looks like he might have, because he was grabbing his chest. I'm like, I really hope he didn't tear that thing.
Yeah, he was concerned. I haven't heard anything yet, so. But you know that guy, he'll be back in 4 months, and you know, whatever. He's on it.
Yeah, you
talking
know
about all these. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
It just made me. We talked about it quite a bit on the show before that match started. That everybody was just kind of writing off Pushkar, like Trubin's going to kill this guy, and I'm like, does everybody remember who Pushkar is? Like, this dude's a bad man.
Yeah.
And he's never ever been afraid to come after somebody. You know, that guy doesn't run from anything.
By the way, everybody knows Pushkar. This Vendetta Pushkar was not that Pushkar at all.
Yeah.
This was completely new guy. Huge. More developed.
Yeah.
Some new guy.
Yeah.
I see him every year. Yeah. This guy was totally new.
When I saw him in Vegas at, what Vendetta was that? The first
43.
43. I handed out the awards with Randy Couture, and you know, I put an award around him, and the dude that I put the medal on that day and the dude I spoke to a couple weeks ago were not at all the same person.
Yeah. Was that where he pulled Michael Todd?
Was it
3 years ago? 2 years
No,
ago?
Pushkar.
No. You mean that Vendetta?
Yeah.
I think Lucas.
Yeah, and that's what bro, he hit Lucas so hard that he ripped the skin off his elbow.
I remember.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, you talk about somebody who
that.
he applies just massive pressure into one exact area.
Woo!
Unbelievable.
I want to learn.
Speaking of that, Scott, I mean, I got a couple people asking, Evan Keller in particular is asking if you feel like your style will, in this, you know, your raw power in general will lead you to what he describes as a rage style like Hutchings. But all these other guys that we talked about, do you have pullers that you want to emulate? I mean, are you going to try to be like a well-rounded technician like Devon, or do you want to focus
Here's what
on?
I want you guys and all the fans out there to understand. My power in my mind, I put it aside.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at it in any sense in my training whatsoever right now. And when I do, my coach stops me. And the reason is because, yeah, I can power through people, but I need to learn the technique. I need to learn the aspects of everything thoroughly. You know, it's real easy to just and try to power through. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm never gonna. I mean, who knows? I get in trouble. I'll use my fucking nutsack if I have to. Whatever we need to do, you know what I mean? But I need to come in as a technician. Power in this sport is short-lived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless you have the technique first to apply to the power.
Well, yeah, you got to relearn.
Yeah, you need to make what I call in weightlifting a mind-to-muscle link-up. And once you can do that, which I haven't completely done yet, to be honest with you, I'm working on it right now, then I will be devastating.
Yeah, you need to learn, you know, basically you need to relearn, in a way, all of your basic motor patterns for a whole new environment.
100%. You couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting, too, because we talked about, you know, you said, you know, you do bench, but you've deadlifted, you've squatted, you can, you know, you've done all that. You can do that still. It's very similar to us in our sport where, you know, we talk about somebody who only has one technique. Well, this guy can hook. Well, you can't beat me in a top roll, though. You know, that kind of stuff happens a lot. So we're in the powerlifting world of the 3 lifts and somebody being a specialist, we have the same thing in our sport, which is like, you know, well, Travis can't beat Dave in a hook. Well, it's like he can beat him in a top roll, though. Who cares? You know?
Yeah, right. Right.
But our training philosophy is built like
everything.
You must be able to do everything in any moment, any situation.
Yeah,
this is what happened with my experience in last Vendetta. We used all kind of techniques, strategies, switches, skills, and it happened there, and we could do that.
Came out on top, yeah.
So we must be able to do everything.
Yeah, nothing should be completely shocking to you, right? I mean, if something happens where it doesn't go quite right, you should still be able to fight. It shouldn't completely knock you off of it. Oh, like he did that one thing I can't do. I lose forever now. Well, that really can't happen at the high level.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you're going to ask me, but I'm going to just shoot it anyway. What am I? Do I hook? Do I top roll? What am I? Neither.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Good answer.
I'm not any better at my top roll than my hook, my side pressure. I work it all. And I don't feel any more comfortable in any one of them. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's a good thing.
But we are working, so everything is...
I mean, like, I don't feel that my top roll is more devastating than my hook. You know what I mean? I feel that I don't feel a particular advantage to either one.
Okay.
Did any of the powerlifting transfer over to your hand strength at all, you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And my wrist strength as well.
Yeah.
There's just no way you support that kind of weight without it transferring over, basically.
No.
Yeah, the only thing I had to do was we didn't really work on the lower fingers, the pinky, ring finger, and middle finger.
Right.
I mean, I did wrist curls, I did hammer curls, I did all that, but I didn't really know how to work my forearms and hands like I do now. Vazgen's turned me on to a whole new set of stuff that has been great for me as a trainer too, because I got all this cool new stuff to show my clientele. You know what I mean? So I incorporate all of our training into all of my other training. So my people are getting stronger in all these other areas that they weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah. Anytime you learn specific strength, it's always cool for a strength athlete, right?
Oh, I got athletes that, like, I was going to lift a guy yesterday. And he's like, well, can you come tonight? And I was like, well, I got to arm wrestle. And he's like, well, I'll come to your arm wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
And he's not an arm wrestler. Of course he flaked, but the thought was there for a minute, But I got these guys coming over from different sports now. Yeah. And there's power lifters and other strength athletes that are now getting into arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of cool that this new thing's happening, because what you're going to get now is you're going to get a whole new level of athlete that's going to be coming into the sport.
Right. Mm-hmm. We talked about that's been talked about. I probably heard it more often, like as of late. Maybe I don't know why, but maybe because the sports got a little bit more exposure. But when you take these Olympic athletes and the people we take from those pots, basically, yeah, we're just guys who just showed up because we thought it'd be fun. And then we find some really good, great guys out of that. But if you were to really like hand pick and cherry pick these athletes who have already succeeded elsewhere, and then we learn how they've recruited, we learn all those things, get kids involved, you're going to have a whole new level of person.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny that you mentioned that, because me and Igor Mazurenko are teaming up together for a sort of a farm league for arm wrestling in the United States. So we're attempting to bring it through the high schools.
Very good.
So this is some stuff that we're working on right now, and you'll be privy to. This is the first time we've mentioned it, but stay tuned. You're going to see some really, really cool stuff going on.
That's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in general in the sport, and I mean, the fact that you're getting involved in it just adds to that. You guys are definitely on the, we can tell that you're on the PAL side of stuff, but I do want to ask you about, last night was the super heavyweights in WL, at least the broadcast of it. I'm just curious if you guys watched it, if you have thoughts about it, if there's, different things you picked up or anything interesting or anything you want to comment on about it.
I haven't watched on TV.
I didn't watch it either, actually.
I saw some videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
Heavyweight championship is always great.
Yeah.
American and Canadian heavyweights, they are like dominating in the world.
Mm-hmm.
All other heavyweights from overseas, they want to compete with American heavyweights or North American.
Sure.
So it's a great thing to watch, but I'm sure there will be on TV again, so I will have time to watch them. Just I was not close to TV at that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody we discuss things, we discuss all videos and TV shows in our trainings, and all my guys, they just say it was a great show, especially Larratt. Travis did good against Dave. Everybody just speak great about that weight class.
Yeah, it was, there were a couple things, like I mentioned earlier about Chafee and Travis that got you all riled up, Scott, but it was it was amazing to watch because, Dave has had everybody, at least in North America's number for a while, and Travis really got into his head and, had his move figured out and just trashed him. The other thing that I was talking to John about last night, which surprised me, was Jerry Carteret giving Travis a hard time. Lefty, he didn't give him that hard of a time, but he certainly slowed him down a lot more than anyone else has in quite some time. Those are the two things that I thought were Very interesting.
Jerry's style is such a unique and not comfortable. He can give troubles to anybody.
Yeah.
Remember his super match with John Brzenk in very first UAL in Venice Beach?
Right.
Long lasting in the heat. I remember Brzenk diving his arm into the
Ice bucket. Yeah, with the
ice
drinks,
bucket
and everything in it.
trying to recover. So he can give troubles to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, hey, let's face it. Travis is top of the world. I mean, what do you say about him? The dude's an incredible athlete. No matter what, that's just the way it is.
Yep,
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
strong.
You know I love you, Travis.
Yeah, I was
Also-
actually.
No, hey, we're good friends. We're good friends.
Yeah. We must remember that we all have, good periods, bad periods. We are out of shape or depressed, and anything can happen.
Sure.
You cannot peak all the time.
Yeah, you can't. Nobody can.
Right.
You got to
That's
pick
very
and
true.
choose.
Hmm.
So hopefully I didn't get Travis at his like unpeaked level. So he told me the other day, he goes, boy, you don't want none of me now. I was like, all right.
Okay.
He's visiting California like
That was
very often.
quote what he said to me.
Yeah.
He's coming to Southern California very often, maybe whenever it's convenience for him. With pleasure, we can have him in our gym, in
That'd
our
be fun.
practice.
Make sure
So
you
he's
video
welcome
that.
here anytime. Hey, all you arm wrestlers are welcome at our practices anytime. We'd love to have huge practices and
And
it's,
recently, we got some interesting practice team.
yeah.
We have like international. We have Kazakhstan, Ukrainian, Armenians. We
Russia.
have Americans, Russians,
Yeah.
Korean guy specially traveled from Korea to here to train with me.
Yeah.
Came here,
He moved here
he
to
found
train
a
with
job,
Vazgen.
he bought a car, he's driving from far some town to here every
Yeah.
day to train.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have very interesting practice team.
I love it.
Yeah,
Are
make
you
sure
guys
you
going to
know.
be at the 9/11 Memorial Tournament there?
Of course, that's like
I'll-
backyard for ours.
I will be
1
there
hour
too.
drive.
Oh, you there? Cool. Well, hang out, man.
Yep. I'll be there competing. For sure.
Well, we've kept you guys.
Whoever doesn't know, it's a great event in a great location and very good money price.
Yeah, it seemed like it. And
$1,000 for each first place.
yeah, I got like dirt cheap tickets out of Minneapolis. I'm like, dude, I'll go.
Just
Fly in, fly out.
everybody, whoever listen, whoever doesn't know, they should go, because show me any other tournament with $1,000 each class.
That's what I said.
Maybe probably WAL only finals or
Exactly.
regionals, or I don't know.
There's no way there's a tournament with that much money with that cheap of tickets where I'm not going to go to it. That's
And
weird.
it's for a good charity, veterans. support
Exactly.
Veterans. It's- The idea, the technical stuff, competition is great.
Let me
Show
tell you
up.
something. That was the first arm wrestling competition that I ever did. And I had a great time. And I'll be there all the time. I like that.
Awesome.
I like the cause, man. I think, today with everything that's going on, with all of our soldiers and everything, we got to treat these guys better than we have been. So,
And lately, the sponsor, Glenn Blanc of that tournament, he started that thing, 22 push-ups, because their statistics, everyday average 22 veterans commit suicide in America.
Right.
So to bring people's attention
Is that horrible?
on this problem, he started that thing, 22 push-ups, and he challenges everybody to do that. You must do push-ups 22 days and post on Facebook. So it gets more and more.
and he's on the pull-ups.
And he challenged me. I said, I never done push-ups in my life. Let's do it pull-ups for me.
He picked the harder one. Let's do it with pull-ups instead of push-ups.
Not for arm wrestlers, it's not. We're like, yeah, no problem, man.
You gonna go over to Bulgaria, Vazgen?
Yes, we are training for that. Now we are making that tickets, hotels,
I just got
reservation.
mine. I just got my
Yeah.
tickets today.
How much was that?
It was well, I'm going to Dublin first with my family and then out there, but I think the total is around $1,000. So
Not bad.
Not bad.
it's
For
not that
man.
bad.
Not bad at all.
Anyway, we've kept you guys on here like almost an hour and a half, so I'm sure you guys have better things to do than talk to us idiots for another
Has it
hour.
been an hour and a half?
Almost,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Hey, I just want to let you guys know I had a blast. And I hope this gets out to a lot of people and settles a lot of things. And you know what? It should be controversial. So let's make this shit happen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, Scott. Thanks for talking with us. And Vazgen, always a pleasure. I'll see you guys next month.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it,
Sounds
guys.
good, man.
All right.
Yeah, you're ever around LA, please come by.
Oh, no
Got
problem at all. I'm flying into LA.
Well, come on, man. Come by.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Dinner's on me, brother.
That sounds great.
You got it.